All right. Now I think I'm good. I had to move. I don't know why. I always have problems. Welcome, everybody, to another Tuesday night principal conference call or video from DE and Band of Brothers. We're happy to bring this to you every week, bringing you just great speakers all every week, just trying to keep people plugged in and fired up so that they can continue kicking butt in their offices and lives. And just we had a couple of great things. Last week on Thursday, we had our GCC third annual Chiro Cup, and it was awesome, man. We had about 90 golfers out there, and just a perfect weather, and it was absolutely beautiful. And Judson and Moriarty and Martinez came in, and we played on it as a foursome team, and we had just an absolute blast. Next year, figure out if you can make it. I'd love to do it DE weekend, but I know Kat would kill me, and do Thursday of DE weekend and then go right into DE weekend. That would be a blast. And then Saturday, I got to speak for the FCS Saturday Night Live, and I always appreciate them having me and all they do down there in South Florida. What a great group. Eddie Martinez, president, Brian Moriarty, vice president, and always kicking ass. So we appreciate that. And then guess what this week is? DE, baby. Thursday through Sunday, we will be at, there it is, DE. And look, there's the Atlanta, Sarasota, Greece, and Atlanta next year in August. So they're up there. We'll get them on the website soon, but just so know that is what's going on. So hope to see everybody there this weekend. If you haven't made plans to, please make plans to attend and join us. It'll be a great weekend, man. This week, we have the immediate past president of the ICA. I think one of the best presidents, probably since the Braille era, to run the ICA. He did a fantastic job. It's when I got involved, and I'm proud to have been able to serve under him, and trying to now continue with him as a board member, and me as an RA, and a bunch of us who came in with him, still there and trying to write some of the stuff that's going on since after he's left. But from up in the great state of Connecticut, Dr. George Curry, take it away. Thank you so much for doing this. We love you, man.
Hey, am I on? Can you hear me? I hope you can. It is one of my distinct pleasures to be with this group, especially this evening. You know, Dr. Sid used to say, if you want to soar like the eagles, you got to hang with the eagles. And when it comes to the dynamic essential brothers and sisters and the band of brothers and sisters, well, that's where it's at. It is DE weekend. I'll touch base on that at the end, at the close. But I want to share my heart today. And the first thing is on my heart to share with you is the fact that we just hit the 125 mark. Happy birthday, chiropractic. And, I'm always one to like to celebrate things in life, and to acknowledge things that are worth celebrating. And certainly, chiropractic's birthday is one of them. And sometimes I don't think there's enough said and enough done to acknowledge this fantastic gift from God to mankind, chiropractic, in 125 years and what we have been through. And to take an opportunity, I spoke to some of the gang at our state association, the Connecticut Chiropractic Council, at their fall convention, and I would be remiss if we didn't look back, to see ahead and think about the sacrifices that were made. I know that on the campus of life, there's a tower with the names of the people who went to jail for chiropractic, and the sacrifices they made. And recently, I was watching a video of Dr. Herbert Ross Reaver, who went to prison on 4 separate occasions, each consecutive time longer. I think the last stint he did was 6 months, arrested, a dozen times. And when he was being interviewed, and I was watching the interview, he was 91 years old at the time, practicing for 61 years. He talked about that experience and to hear his words. But his wife, Millie, was with him. And it wasn't just the chiropractors sacrificing themselves to prove a point that chiropractic was a separate and distinct healing art. Look at the effects it had on the families. And there was one case in I think it was in New York, where there were twin girls, I think 6 years old, and both the mother and father, both chiropractors, were being sent to prison for 6 months in separate prisons, and to have to leave your children, the heartbreaking. And many of these cases, they didn't have to serve jail time at all if they paid the fine, but they refused to pay the fine. They paid the price for us, for you and me, so that we could go to work every day and not have to worry about someone knocking at our door, and to have to live with that fear. A good brother from Rhode Island, Ron Marsh, great chiropractor, he produced a video. I was going to say a video essay. It was a documentary, really. And he took over a year, and he went to the chiropractors in Massachusetts. Now, Louisiana was the last state to gain licensure. I think it was in 1972. But Massachusetts wasn't too far ahead of them. I think it was 1966. So he took a year and interviewed either the chiropractors who had been arrested, or the children of the chiropractors who were arrested, or their spouses if the chiropractor was deceased. And one of the spouses talked about how the struggle that they had, and how the children were chastised, they were made fun of, how they couldn't belong or go to certain country clubs, that they were mocked, and it was just the price that they paid. And some chiropractors couldn't take it, so they went to New Hampshire, or they went to Connecticut. And I'm just 13 miles from the Massachusetts border. And I remember that the widow said, my husband referred to those chiropractors as gutless, because they couldn't take it and they left. And how is that going to advance their cause to get licensure? So such a price that they paid. We honor them. We honor what they did, and what they sacrificed for was chiropractic being a unique philosophy, science, and art, not part of the medical act, and therefore we could offer something different. And we know that all surrounded on the science and the art of detecting subluxations, and no other profession does that, and adjusting subluxations, and no other healing art does that. And we have that we can uniquely provide. Some of the things that may or may not be offered are not chiropractic, and whether you do them in your office or choose to or not, that's not why they sacrificed. That's not why they paid that price. And now there are countries, as chiropractic is really flourishing worldwide. Chiropractic colleges open up all over the world, more so now outside the U.S. than inside the U.S. But yet there are still countries, many of them, where they don't have licensure, they don't have regulation, and they practice every day with the threat that says, you know what, you might not want to leave this week, because they're going to come and put a padlock or a chain on your door. And it was within recent history, even in the last 10 years, they were having problems like that in Italy, where they were closing down clinics, maybe 10, 15 years ago. So there's so much work to be done. But when we've gone so far, and as much as we'd like to say, some people say, well, wait, we're nowhere near where we should be. This percentage of people that we see aren't going up, percentage-wise, whatever, blah, 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 thumbsuckers, whining and complaining. And there's a lot of that. To that I say, you know what? We were facing resistance from the get-go. We were trying to be wiped out and eliminated from the get-go. And where we are now is where we're supposed to be. It's all according to God's plan. And can we do better? You bet. Will we do better? You bet we're going to do better. But we should celebrate, after 125 years, of the victories that we have, had. And the patience and the millions of years that we've added to millions of lives through chiropractic care. And we look at what's going on now. We looked at the past, pay tribute to those who paid that pearl of great price for us. Now we look at what we've had, especially in the last year. And you know what? People are hurting big time. Depression rates are up. Suicide rates are up. There's a disconnect. There's distancing. We've got masks. It's where's the love? And it's sad, really. And people are gripped in fear. Fear. And I hate to see that. And so we have to continue, and as we will, in the chiropractic offices, offer hope for people to come in and offer and share our love, which is part of the lasting purpose that we all learned at DE. Now, I've been attending DE meetings for decades, 30 years plus that. And, Sid had the right idea to say that we should get together in 4 times or more a year and get together and huddle up and get all the like-minded chiropractors together so that we could fellowship and we could share ideas and we could lift each other up. Because when you go out across the planet to practice, there are trials and tribulations, much more so now. When I entered practice almost, 38 years ago, I know that 9 out of 10 people that came through my door were people who had gone to every other type of care provider that they could. We were the last hope. And now it's not that case so much anymore. We still see very difficult cases every day in an office, every day. But people come in and there's not so much of a maybe stigma, I don't know, but they're coming in and they're trying chiropractic first, which is awesome. And I was at a program over the weekend with my son, who's a chiropractor. I have two out of my 3 sons are chiropractors, and my 2 of my 3 daughters, and we practice together. And my son gave a testimonial because we had a woman that came in Monday, and she was suffering from so much stress. Her husband had taken ill, and she had tremendous stress at work, and she came in to see us, and every night she'd wake up in the middle of the night and throw up. That's how sick she was and how stressed out she was. And when we said, well, how did you come to our office? Did someone refer you? And so forth. And she said, no, but I've seen your sign, and almost, several times a week, I go to CVS drugstore across the street from your office to get drugs. And I thought, you know what? I should try chiropractic. Had you been to a chiropractor before? No. Well, she came in, she got an analysis, a consultation analysis. We took some images and located her subluxation. She got 1 adjustment. And when she came back the next day, she said, this is the first time in 6 weeks, I think it was 6 weeks or 8 weeks, the first time that I went to sleep and didn't get up in the middle of the night and throw up. And it just so happens that this person's job is the aide to the governor. This is the right-hand person for the governor of the state of Connecticut. So, we take care of everybody the same, regardless of their social economic class, their job, their status. But it's interesting to see how God sends people to your office. And I really, literally would joke, but when they come in, we want to treat them as if Jesus himself had called our office and said, I'm setting up an appointment for one of my children. And we want to give everyone, that's the DE way, the VIP treatment, loving on every patient and serving on every patient, and spreading the love and trying to eliminate the fear. That we talk about the fruits of the Spirit, and the greatest of those is love. And that's what we want to do. And where do we get that message? Where do we get that mindset? Where do we get that credo and that lasting purpose? Well, it's been DE. DE was the home of the lasting purpose, and it's a mindset and a lifestyle that, frankly, has nothing to do with chiropractic. You could be a DE Uber driver, but if you compassionately have a calling to serve and love your fellow human being without expecting anything in return, just out of the goodness of your heart, expecting nothing back. That's the way. That is the way. But nonetheless, it's all good in the throes of Marietta in the hotel room when we're hugging and loving on each other. But you go back to your office, and then all of a sudden you get hit with the real world, and this person doesn't show up for work, and this you can't something gets misplaced, and someone else is calling, and someone's hollering because in my case the parking lot's all tore up because they're putting a new sewer line literally 2 feet from my one of my doors, the entrance of my office. These things happen, and you can get beat up. And in this day and age with the COVID, you could fall prey to that fear, and everywhere you go, you put the mask on, put the mask off. It's just forget about it. Last time I was at DE, I shared how we said we're going to have a 5K run, and we sponsored a run. We wanted to get out in the community. We had our shirts, COVID 5K, and we wanted to show the community we weren't fearful, and we could go out and exercise and not wear these silly masks. Nothing drives me crazier than to see someone trying to run to be healthy, and then they're breathing in their own air, or they're driving in their car with their mask on. Wow. We and the good book says we shouldn't conform to the world, but we must be transformed, right? And that's what we want to do to the patients who come in our office, transform them, to show them that there's a better way, and to not be so fearful, and how to live a life without fear, right? But when we go to DE and we get to fellowship, and we get to be surrounded around people who are principled, who love chiropractic, love serving their patients, and love telling the chiropractic story, and are driven. They are in love with the principle. And Sid Williams used to always say that if you love something enough, it'll give away its secrets. And he often told the story about the cooking utensils, how he tried to sell them, and he was a miserable failure. Could never sell anything. If people would slam the door-to-door sales, slam the door in his face, he got nowhere, and he was frustrated. Him and Dee Dee, and then at one point he just kind of fell in love with the product that he was selling, and as soon as he got in the mindset where he was in love with what he was doing, didn't think of it as a job, didn't think of the person as another sale, just loved the product that he had. As soon as he got in that mindset, that as soon as he went to the house and tried to sell the cooking utensils, instead of being hollered at, go away, we don't want anybody, or being run off the front porch, he was welcomed in. And they bought the set, and then someone came up from another room and said, I think I wanted a set too. And it just grew and grew and grew. And pretty soon he would caught up to Nell Williams, and Dr. Sid became like one of the top salespeople in the country. And he said he got to the point where he would just go into a lounge or a bar and set the cooking utensils on the bar and just take it lovingly out of its little case and just set it there. And he would attract people to come on over and want to buy his cooking utensils. And if you're in love with chiropractic, and you're in love with service, you're in love with the principle, sometimes I say, well, how do you treat something that's in love? I know chiropractors who, when they hit a certain degree of success, the first thing they do is they go out and buy a car, and not just an ordinary car, not like a Ford Explorer like I'm driving. they buy some fancy car, and and I know they love that car, and they make sure that car is clean, and they make sure there's no scratches on that car, and they make sure that car is garaged. That's how they take care of it. So if you love the chiropractic profession, how are you taking care of the chiropractic profession? Are you giving back to the chiropractic profession? Some people, you don't get out, you don't see a seminar. I would like to see some of the men and women that I saw 30 years ago at DE, back at DE. And some of the people, we talked in the Bible about building your house on the rock and not on the sand, because if you build your practice on the sand, it'll look good for a while. But you know what happens when the storms come? They get washed away. When the storms come, there goes your practice. And a lot of these people, I look to my left and I look to my right, and they're not practicing anymore. They got sick. They got uninspired. They started selling stocks and bonds, or they hit the stock market. I'm like, what happened? Where's the passion? Where's the love? and they fell out of love, unfortunately. And it can happen. It can easily be done. It can happen to anyone. And so where are they? I don't see them down at DE. Why aren't they coming down at DE anymore? Well, they might have lost that passion for the principal. And that's why DE and seminars like DE, but to be honest with you, there's none of them that are like DE. But there are other programs that are fantastic. But at DE, it's the principal that gets the showcase. It's not the platform speaker. Because over the decades, the people on the platform, they've come and they've gone, but the message is the same. The message is to serve with love and integrity and compassion the people in your community. And I often talk about what you can do in your community. You look at a young stud like Brian Moriarty, who, they lovingly and jokingly call him the mayor of his town, because he's at this civic event and he's at that civic event, and he's always giving back to the community, and he does it with a passion and from his heart, not expecting to gain anything. Well, what do you think that happens to his practice when everybody knows who he is? He has authority, and he can speak with authority. If I go to your town and I go around the neighborhood and they ask people who you are they will they know? I know Dr. Boylan, down in Boylan, Connecticut. He's a great, fantastic chiropractor. He was just sharing some practice tips with the members of our state association, and we golfed together on Sunday. In fact, her team won the golf tournament. She's awesome. But if you went to down in Boylan's town and you asked around, who's a chiropractor? Oh, Dr. Boylan. They all know her. So you need to be the shepherd in your community. People need to know who you are. You got to make that so. This week, somebody asked me about that, because there's like 6 things that I did and I continue to do to really, really entrench and let people know who we are in our community. Different generations, 3 generations now. And somebody asked me if I would share that at this weekend at DE, and I said I'd absolutely love to do that. And then someone heard the rumor that I was recently in jail, and that is true. And I'll share that story too this weekend. So I hope you're all going to be down in Marietta this weekend. I'll definitely share that story. But so we have a big job to do. It's exciting. We don't need new patients. The new patients need us. But we cannot be disorganized. We must be organized. Dr. Williams often said, could you build a 500 a week practice, 500 patient visits a week, if you were giving it away for free? In other words, if you had no charge attached to it, could you see 500 people a week? And of course, that was like the charge. But then some people said, well, I'm going to see 500 people a week and I am going to give it away. And then they would come down to DE and they would sleep in their cars instead of the hotel room, because they couldn't afford a hotel room, because they literally gave it away. And so if your object is to be a missionary, well, that's I got that. That's cool. But I think that, the part of the lasting purpose is, in order to give out of your abundance, you have to have abundance. And it's not, and indeed, lasting purpose is not just about practice. It's about, having a rocking, lifestyle, and a terrific family, and a terrific, marriage, and then having it all, having all the joys that should be associated with a someone of faith, and someone who's willing to, give back and to your community. So it's just an awesome experience for me. One of the things I wanted to share with you, though, that some of the things we have to rise up on, and there are some things that we need to rise up on within the community of chiropractic, not outside the community, but within the community. There's always this enemy that's trying to tear down the chiropractic from within. We've got talking heads, talking political heads that want to talk about coronavirus, and they want to talk about everything else and not really talk about chiropractic and what chiropractic means in your office, and how you can expand and grow your practice and reach more people in your community. That's what people would like to hear, not necessarily, all the medical regurgitation of Fox or CNN News. And in fact, you should turn that off and stay away from that. But come to my attention that a recent survey by one of the Florida, mixer groups that 60% of their membership would say yes to having lobbying to include prescription rights in chiropractic. Prescription rights in chiropractic. Charles Lemley went to jail 66 times from Waco, Texas. 66 times he was arrested. And he didn't get arrested that many times and put that stress on his family so that we could be like the medical profession and give our pharmaceuticals. That's a dishonor. Dishonor to him and to all those who came before us. Disrespect. In Michigan, everything that comes in, I get the phone calls with it. Michigan, their chiropractors are doing some type of a electromagnetic therapy for erectile dysfunction, shock treatment or shock waves. I mean, really? Seriously? Get another license to do that. I mean, please, don't sully our profession. Man, we've got a great thing going here. And the sad part is a lot of the chiropractors don't know the value of chiropractic like a lot of our patients do. Our patients are warriors. Dr. Reaver, when he was in jail, his patients rallied for him because they understood the chiropractic principle. They lived it. Their lives were saved by it. They had suffering from illnesses you couldn't even think of, and they were resurrected by the correction of the subluxation, and they would go to war for him, protesting outside the jail to let him out. And our founder, D.D. Palmer, you know the story, in 1906 he was arrested, and they said, you go to jail for 250 days. Was it 6 months? I forgot what it was. I think it was 3 months. You go to jail for 3 months or pay a $350 fine. And all of his followers, when the word got out, said, we'll raise the money. We're going to pay it for you. It'd be about $5,000 in today's economy. And he goes, no, I don't want you to pay it. I don't have a lack of PAL money, but I have an abundance of principle. So I will stay here to make a point. There's a new paradigm. Chiropractic, no drugs, no surgery. Philosophy, science, and art. Went to jail and suffered so that we can enjoy what we have today. And we have a huge job to do because I know in my community, within 7-mile radius, there are people right now who can't breathe because of a medical condition. There are people right now who are disturbed and are taking pharmaceuticals because of depression and anxiety, bipolar disorders. There are people within my community right now whose children are suffering from childhood illnesses. And I know that they should have their spines checked for nerve interference. And I know that if they're subluxated, they need to see a chiropractor to get an adjustment for that subluxation. And they're not going to get it anywhere else. And I got an email today from a chiropractor in Indiana, and he said, I've got a patient, a world famous patient who's in Sweden, and he's ready to fly to the United States because he's been to 10 different chiropractors and he can't get a chiropractic adjustment to clear him out. I don't like to hear stories like that. I do not like to hear stories like that. So when we have a platform like DE, and DE is a platform, and we can get together on that platform, and we can celebrate the principle, celebrate what's right with chiropractic, the joy of practice, the challenges of practice, the joy and challenges of seeing someone resurrected, someone who's throwing up every night and gets a specific scientific chiropractic adjustment and is free from that, and seeing these miracles in our office. Wow, what could be better? And we get paid for that. We get paid for that. So some of the brothers and sisters that have faced challenges, I was on the phone earlier this year with some of the leaders of the state associations in some of the states where they weren't considered essential and their offices were closed down. We're going to, we got the government sometimes like the tail wagging the dog. The government's supposed to be for the people, by the people, not suppressing the people and limiting the people's rights. Disrespect there. I was on the phone trying to go to bat with some of the leaders to try to help open up some of those states. But there are people here that are hurting. chiropractors who have right intentions, they're principled, but they have challenges. Man, if you are challenged and you want to find a safe harbor in the storm, you got to come to DE. And all or nearly all of the people there who are sitting in the audience who have huge mega practices and some that speak, they are there to help you. They're not selling you anything. They're there to help you. They're either to offer you a hug and some advice and to help steer you and to say, listen, there isn't anything that you've been going through, nothing that you've been going through that somebody in this room hasn't already gone through, and we could help you. We need to lift each other up because that's part of the lasting purpose, not expecting anything else in return. And that's what you get at DE. That's what you get with the Band of Brothers. That's what you get. You can't get anywhere else. So if you haven't been to DE, I implore you, come on down this particular weekend. This is the last one of the year. And if you're like me, and you're probably not like me because I'm psycho crazy, but we are putting the pedal to the metal and we are driving to close out this year. Our office has already exceeded what we've done last year. We're up despite COVID, but that's not enough. There are still people out there that we need to reach. That's not enough. So we are putting the pedal to the metal. And so join me, come down to DE this weekend, and we're going to really get together. We're going to huddle up, and we're going to talk about what we can do. We're going to celebrate what's right about chiropractic, the passion that we have, and being able to essentially share the love that we have for chiropractic and for one another. So it's a little bit of normal, as I like to call it. You go into a no mask, mask-free zone, and kind of be resurrected and how it used to be, and so you don't get bogged down because you're hitting, the looks you get from people, and it's just unbelievable. And I had a patient who came in, he's retired. What a life. Him and his wife enjoy their retirement. They were electrical contractors and have one of the biggest electrical contracting companies in the state of Connecticut. And it's like 3 generations. And he's retired now. I'm going to be wrapping up in a minute. He's retired now. So he's got this huge, Winnebago van or tour bus, like a rock star tour bus. And him and his wife get on that bus, that motorhome, and they go throughout the country, and they go to Iowa, and they go to the sprint races, and they hang out, and they see these same people every year, and they go to different tracks. And because of the COVID, he was telling me that the tracks in Iowa were closed. Cedar Rapids, I think, were closed. So they went to Indiana, and they have like 5 tracks there, and it's just awesome. And they opened up to 50% of the capacity. And he said, you hardly saw anybody with masks on. And they came to the track, and they were enjoying the races. And it was just such a great thing. And the first stop that he makes, he parks his motorhome. But the first stop he makes when he comes in town, he comes in. He said, "Man, he says, I feel great. I feel awesome, but I just want to get checked." And he just wanted to come in for the love that we give. And he was sharing me the stories. And he said, one of my best friends worked for Merck, just retired from Merck, the pharmaceutical company, and he was in their the vaccine division, PhD, smart guy. And he says, he told me about this whole thing. The media's blowing this whole thing up, all this hype about this stuff. He said, it's unbelievable. He says, if you're going to, first of all, you don't have to worry about the virus. But second of all, if you were worried about the virus, when you wear a mask, he said, the eye is what comes in faster than anywhere else, and you're not even protecting your eye. And so it just cracks me up when I see the patients know and they see through the scam, this whole scam. So while I wrap this up, and I could go on forever. I'm sorry. That's just how I am. I'm psyched up. I'm psyched about it. I'm so pumped up about it. And I wish I could see you all, give you a virtual hug, and excited to see Kat and Brian and everybody, the whole crew, down this weekend. But I wanted to just close by saying this, that we have a purpose in life. All of us have a purpose in life, and there's nothing more exciting than to fulfill your purpose and to make an impact in the fabric of your community, to make an impact to the degree that when you're gone, they'll be look back and they'll say, wow, what a difference she made in our community. Not when you're gone, that nobody even missed, they didn't even know you were gone. Fulfilling your purpose by helping people, I could see of no greater calling than to help the suffering humanity. In the realization that we can help expand human potential, make everyone a better version of themselves by removing nerve interference is just the greatest thing that I can think of, the absolute greatest thing. And we all have that power in our hands, and it's up to us to bring it to our communities. So it's with that I close, and I thank you so much for listening to me bloviate a little bit here. I can't wait to see you all in Atlanta. Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Brian. And God bless everyone on this call.
Surprise!
It's the mayor.
You know, my ears were burning. You were talking so great about me. I had to jump on here and tell you what a great job you did, my brother.
Oh, I was trying to talk some essay, something else about you, but I guess I didn't, huh?
Hey, guys, if you were listening, you liked what you heard from Dr. Curry, hit that heart button, put some comments up there, tell him what a great job he did, because that guy just crushed it. Thank you so much, Dr. Curry. It was an honor to hear you speak tonight, my man. And I can't wait to see you at DE. You're going to be at DE, right? A couple of days?
You bet. I'm
Yes,
walking
sir.
down. They wouldn't let me take a plane, so I'm walking. I got to start tonight.
Yeah, this will be my my first one as a fellow ICA board member with yourself. So,
well, I'm glad you're on the board because I got a lot of questions for you.
Oh, good. We'll chat. Wait, if we're allowed to. Well, get that mask on and get ready for DE, my friend.
Yeah, I got my Halloween mask. So it's a Homer Simpson.
in our county today, we just repealed our mask mandate. So you know what? In Stuart, Florida, there's no more masks anymore. How exciting is that?
Oh, geez, that's great.
Yeah.
Back to normalcy, as I like to say.
Exactly.
But anyway,
next stop, Connecticut. So.
Beautiful.
But thank you so much, Dr. Curry, for your inspiring message today. It was awesome, and I can't wait to see you at DE, my brother.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining me. We'll see you soon down the road. God bless.
All right. God bless everybody. Have a great night.